I've recently been reflecting on how my life has changed in the last 10 years. I turned 30 back in August. It's funny looking back now because I remember so vividly being a teenager thinking by the time I hit 30, I'm going to have everything figured out and wonder what my life will look like. And that is old, holy crap. And now being 30, I'd like to say that is not old. That stuff is definitely not true. I actually started this YouTube channel a decade ago, so right when I turned 20. And here I am 10 years later, and I've kind of been able to grow up with YouTube part of my life for the last 10 years. And I've definitely learned a lot through my 20s. Your 20s is definitely a time of self-discovery and a lot of life changes. You will go through so much, and looking at myself now at 30 and thinking of my younger self at 20, I feel like I am completely two different people, and it feels like it was a lifetime ago. In your 20s, you're going to learn countless of lessons, and I am here to share with you some of the things that I learned in my 20s and would love to tell my younger 20-year-old self. Number one, you will not always have life figured out. There is no clear pathway to adulthood. We are all honestly just trying to figure it out. When we are the age of 17 and 18, we are told to figure out what we want to do with the rest of our lives. It's so much pressure and such a big life decision, and we're kids when making it. And of course, life isn't always gonna go the way that you planned it to go when you are just 17 or 18 years old. Myself included, I went to university for psychology. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I actually did work in the mental health field for 5 years. And I did graduate university with a psychology degree. I was planning to do that for the rest of my life. And it is crazy to look back now because so much has changed. As you guys know, I've been doing YouTube for the past 6-7 years full time. I was actually let go from my mental health job. It was a whole thing. I did a whole story time about it on my channel years ago when I was going through it. I was really devastated. It was such a shock, and it was really honestly horrible how it all went down. That was a really big pivotal moment in my early 20s that really shook my world upside down for a little bit there. Things are going to change. You're going to change. Careers are going to change. Family, friendships are going to change. Even your interests are going to change. Now I'm doing YouTube, and I love social media. I love advertisement. I love marketing. And although I still have a passion for psychology and have always been passionate about mental health and addiction, I'm definitely also have a passion in advertising, social media, and marketing. And that really wasn't a big thing going into my university. Social media was definitely not a huge thing. I remember Facebook was huge in high school for me, and Instagram started when I was in university, but now there are courses in social media. I even did a whole speech for a college in Toronto here talking about my experience of doing full-time social media for a social media class. And it was so surreal because picking my decision when I was 17 years old, that wasn't an option, and I didn't even know about that whole world. And with social media now, that also leads to another thing. Everyone is posting their curated content where it seems like people are posting themselves to look better than they are. They eat better than they are. They live in nicer houses than they really are living in. They're richer or they're happier than they really are. But majority of us, if not all of us, are just hot messes. And most of the times we really don't have life figured out, and that is okay. It's okay to not figure everything out in your life in your 20s. And even when you get older and older, it's okay to not always know what you're doing. And it's okay to change even if you're 50 or you're 35 or 40 or 25. You will always be changing and always be evolving, and that is completely okay. I definitely know when I was younger, especially in my early 20s, I was definitely one that planned everything. I wanted to hit certain goals at a certain timeline. And that is just something you cannot control. And it is something that will drive you crazy. And it's okay to not have everything figured out by the time you turn 30. And that leads me to number 2, which is don't compare yourself to others. Comparing yourself is a game you will always lose. By constantly comparing, you will feel unhappy. You'll feel a lot of feelings of not feeling good enough. You'll also feel a lot of resentment towards other or built up anger towards other. And it's just, like I said, a game that you will never win. Comparing leads to unhappiness and low self-esteem. And I've definitely learned that. I feel like it is completely natural at some point in life growing up and comparing yourself to others that you may know, or even just comparing yourself to celebrities or the media or what you see on social media now. And it's definitely a slippery slope, and it's something that I had to learn to not compare myself. And once you learn that, you're so much happier with your life, and you also are a lot more grateful for the things that you do have and more grateful for your life in general. Once you do learn to never compare yourself, your life will change, and you will definitely start to not feel those feelings of never feeling good enough. You will feel that weight being lifted from you. And one thing that I learned is you cannot control anyone but one life, and that is yourself. Number 3 is your friendships will change, and friendships cannot be forced. The 20s is definitely a period of time where you're going to see a lot of people come in and out of your life or re-enter your life. And that is just completely normal, especially when you're in your early 20s. You're always surrounded by friends, whether you're going to school, you don't really have responsibilities, you may not have that full-time job yet, and you're seeing people all the time. But when you get older, especially near the end of your 20s, your life is changing. People are getting married, people are moving away, people are having families, and you can't be with your friends every single day, going to Starbucks or going to that party or going every week to the mall. That's going to change with time and the older you get. So you're going to see a lot of friendships leave and a lot of new people enter your life. And I've definitely learned there are 2 types of friendships. Friendships that change with time apart, and friendships that don't change with time apart. And the ones that don't change with time apart, hold those friendships dearly, because those are the ones that matter, and those are the people that are going to be there for you. One thing I also learned is you may lose friendships, but you also might reconnect with friends. There has been friends that I have lost, and there's also been friends that I've lost and we've grown apart, but we also grew back together. And to be welcoming of that, whatever's meant to be will be. But something I also did learn in my 20s is friendships cannot be forced. I had a friendship where I felt like I was always putting more of the effort in to hang out or to have that connection or friendship, and as well as a friendship that I feel like I was pouring myself, my soul, and I never really knew that person in the end of the day, which is strange because you're friends with someone for years and years and you still don't feel like you know them, is a little bit odd, especially when a friendship is very secretive and you're just forcing a friendship to work. When in the end, a friendship or a relationship in general, it takes 2 people, and if you feel like you are constantly pulling and tugging, making this friendship work, then it's time to let go, and that is okay, and that is going to make you in the long run feel better, because it's never good feeling when you feel like you have to put all the effort and you feel like someone doesn't really want to be your friend, and then you start thinking, what is wrong with you? Why doesn't this person like me? It affects you personally. So it's better to just let those friends go, and also keep the friends that are putting that effort and really who have been there for you through the good times and the bad times as well. Number 4 is to take care of your body. It is important to prioritize yourself and prioritize health and fitness. I know that some of us may be really into health and fitness and some of us may not. My 20s was definitely the time where I joined the gym, and I really made fitness and health part of my lifestyle. And I really, really recommend to do this, and not only just exercise and cultivating good eating habits or healthy eating habits, but also doing physical exams. So really just keeping up with your physical health is really important, because this is going to lead you to living a more fulfilled, longer, healthier life. And it's important to take care of your body. You only have one body, and you have to maintain your body. You can't just not get sleep, eat like crap, don't move your body and be active, and don't take care of yourself, go to your checkups. you're going to end up having issues in the long run. And so it's important to do as much as you can when you're young, and you will thank yourself later. So it is important to be proactive, and that leads me to number 5, which is mental health is important. Not only is it important to take care of your physical body, but it's important to take care of your mind as well. So a lot of us tend to neglect our mind, but things are really changing, because growing up in elementary school and in high school, mental health really wasn't spoken much. And now it is definitely becoming more part of the conversation. It wasn't until my 20s where I really started to learn more about mental health and all of that. And of course, I did a degree in psychology, and I did end up working in a mental health facility. So I really started to learn a lot. But I definitely did not have any conversations when I was young about mental health, and that led me to really suppressing a lot as a young girl and teenager, and I really would hold things in. I would be going through so much, and I would be not telling anyone, and I was really internally struggling in my mind, but no one really knew about it, and it was really unhealthy. It led to a lot of emotional breakdowns, and it was just not good. And I've learned that it's important to seek support and surround yourself with those that will support you, and also to do things and do certain practices that will help boost your mental health. And of course, it's going to be different for everyone, but it's important to find those things that are going to help you make sure that you are keeping on track with your mind. And it's important to do those self check-ins. Number 6 is a big one, and that is people will never be what you expect them to be. And this can be good or bad. What you thought you knew about the world and people you idolize can be completely wrong. And I've definitely learned this later in my 20s, so mid 20s on. And this was definitely one that was a really hard pill to swallow. You will learn things that you may have been sheltered from as a kid. You might also grow apart from friends and family members. And you could be let down by the people you never thought would let you down. And this, like I said, was a really hard thing for me to realize. But on the flip side, you're also going to learn that sometimes it's important to not judge a book by its cover, because that person you thought would never be your friend could end up being your best friend. Or that job that you thought you would hate could be the job that in the end you really wanted and you love. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, but you're definitely going to start coming up to realizations about a lot of things in your 20s, and especially near the end of your 20s. Number 7 is healing takes time, and it could take longer than the time the hurt caused. Healing is not linear. So whether this is a relationship breakup, a friendship breakup, or just a life situation that was devastating that happened to you. When I got fired, I was devastated. It was a really big life change in my life that I didn't see coming. So whatever that life change is that caused you hurt, it will take time and patience to move on, and that is okay. You need to be patient with yourself. And I know in this society, we're all about quick and fast and getting what we want right away, but it takes time to heal. And sometimes you'll notice that things will actually come back up. And that is okay, because healing is not linear, and to give yourself that time, but know that time really does heal all wounds. Number 8 is to start saving and avoid debts. So a big reason why I was able to purchase my dream home at 27 was this exact thing right now, was saving and avoiding debts. So I'm blessed enough to have a dad that really instilled to me the importance and value of $1 and the importance of saving at a young age. And a lot of us, I know, just going through life and seeing other people in my life and friends or family, it's really difficult in your 20s to save for a lot of people. We don't really think about the future as much. You're more living in the moment, and you don't really understand what that will do for you in the later in life. And I realized and have told so many people it's important to start saving now, to work hard and save. So when I got my first job at 16, I learned to save from then on, and I thank myself every single day, because especially when you're younger and you don't have as many responsibilities, you don't have bills, this is the time to save and to think about your future. Of course, you don't want to be harping on your future and be so hard on yourself, but you do want to have a little bit of a plan when it comes to saving, because you will always thank yourself later. Everyone I talk to that is older now always says that they wish they saved when they were younger and they were in their 20s. And you need to, even if it's just putting aside from your paycheck a little bit here and there, and of course trying to avoid debt. So if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Do not live over your means. Of course, this is sometimes unavoidable. Like, a lot of people have school debt, and just there's certain things that really you're trying to better your future and it's inevitable. But for other things, getting loans for things that are unnecessary or maxing out credit cards because of shopping trips or whatever the case may be, it's important to avoid that, because in the end, you're going to feel overwhelmed. It's going to feel like you are struggling to breathe, especially if you are maxing out credit cards or you have so many loans and then you have interest on those loans. And then it's like an ongoing cycle where you feel like you're being buried. So it's important to really try to have an understanding about your financials and try to have more of a balance. So you want to enjoy your 20s and you want to live, and you maybe want to travel or just like do what you want, but then you also want to have that little side of you that puts away for your future self, because you will thank your future self. Number 9, no one judges you nearly as often as you do. This was one that I definitely wish I could tell my younger self, because in my 20s, especially turning 20 and getting out of high school, I'd say, I was so insecure with so many things now that honestly I couldn't care about now. I would be so stressed about if I had a pimple on my face, or stressed about if someone was looking at me in a swimsuit, or overthinking a conversation or interaction I had with a person, thinking that they're gonna think I'm weird or awkward, all of that. I feel like we've all been there where we overthink and we think people are judging us who honestly are not judging you. Even another situation I know so many people go through is just feeling like people are judging you when you're working out. You feel like people think that you're not doing it right, or you feel really insecure being around people when you're working out. Something I learned is people are not judging you nearly as much as you are judging yourself. It is something that you learn with time. People are more focused on their own lives. Trust me, they are not focused on that zit on your chin. They're not focused on that conversation. They're not even thinking about it. They're thinking about whatever is going on in their own life, and they're focused on their situations. I wish I was a lot more carefree and not so stressed about these little minuscule things that now, looking back, was just a waste of time. Number 10, enjoy the ride and take risks. Your 20s, like I said, is definitely a time of self-discovery. You're really going to learn about yourself, the things you love, the things you don't like. You're going to have a ton of highs and also a ton of lows. It's never going to be linear, but it's definitely a time that I say have a blast, enjoy it, and take those risks that you've always been wanting to do. My 20s, I have to say, was definitely a very defining decade for my life. I thoroughly enjoyed my 20s. Although, of course, we all have hardships, and I definitely went through a lot of lows in my 20s, I really discovered myself. I became more confident with myself as every year passed in my 20s, and I also had the most fun that I ever had. If you want to travel, book that trip. Travel. In my 20s, I traveled so much with my best friend Jessica. We went to Vegas. We went to Barcelona, Spain. We went to Greece together. We went to Dominican Republic. We traveled and lived it up and had the best experiences. And I really, through all those trips, felt like I learned something more about myself, and I felt more free and more independent. And it was just so fun. You're more careless, you're less fearful, you have less responsibility. So enjoy those moments and take those moments if you can, and as well as take those risks. So like I said, I started YouTube when I was 20. 10 years ago exactly. And when I started, YouTube wasn't as big of a thing. People thought I was weird. People thought it was stupid. People thought it was going nowhere. And if I listened to those people, my life would have changed. I would have been more miserable, and I wouldn't have had all the amazing experiences and this life that I've built for the last 10 years. And even if it's not something that you're going to do forever, but you want to do it in the moment, do it, because it is well worth it. I'm so happy I didn't listen to others, because I was just so happy filming myself and uploading. It was like a form of expression for me when I started YouTube. I really enjoyed it. I was doing psychology and mental health, but I always had a creative side to me, and I'm so happy I did it. And I was able to make this into a career. Even if it's not forever, I will forever be grateful for YouTube and this experience, because it has brought me to where I am today. And I'm so thankful for it. And I've enjoyed it thoroughly over these last 10 years, just growing up and filming. It was just such a fun thing for me. So whatever your risk may be, take the risk. Your 20s can be definitely some of the most stressful times of your life, and you're definitely going to go through a lot, but it can also be the best time of your life, and take advantage of that, because it goes by so fast. Looking back, I cannot believe that 10 years has passed. I remember being back in university, and I loved that experience. I started university at 18, graduated at 22, and those were the best years of my life. And even after, I traveled, and it was just so fun. So definitely enjoy the ride. Know that nothing is going to last forever as well. So if you're going through a low in your life, just know that nothing lasts forever. And if you're going through a high in your life, really take in the moment and enjoy that. Because like I said, your journey in life is not going to be linear, and I've learned that, and it is okay. It's okay to fail, and you will succeed as well. Life is long, it's challenging, but it's a very rewarding journey. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was so fun looking back at the last decade. It's so crazy to me, because I've been able to spend this last decade with you guys. So thank you guys so much if you've been supporting me, whether you started supporting me today or you supported me 10 years ago. Thank you so, so much. I can't believe I've been sharing my life on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram for the last 10 years. It is completely crazy to me, but it's also really nice to go back and look at the memories and look at kind of like your highlight reel, because like I said, everyone's social media, whether you do it as a job or you just post to post, it's everyone's life curated. It's the best moments. It's the highest of the highs. There's going to be maybe sometimes a raw moment here and there, but most of the times it's when we feel our best, look our best, accomplishing the best things in our life, going through the biggest milestones in our life. That's just something that you always need to remember. I'm excited to enter now my 30s and see where life takes me. I'm excited to bring you guys along. Thumbs it up if you liked it. I could totally do another one of these, because I feel like I've learned so much in my 20s. Let me know how old you guys are. I'm curious to know. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. I do post every single Tuesday and Thursday. And on that note, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.